institution is the lack of practicals, the lack of practical knowledge. Our education is mostly focused on theoretical aspects. But one thing I'll assure any student in Africa or the world at large is when you become a member of the YouthMappers Network, you are starting of gaining practical knowledge and also theoretical knowledge.
Welcome to another episode of the Africa GeoConvo podcast, a podcast about geospatial innovations and people doing great things with geospatial technology in Africa. My name is Omowonola, and today on the show, I'm joined by Tommy Charles. Tommy is from Sierra Leone and is a GIS professional who is into mapping for research and also to support disaster. Tommy is also the regional ambassador for the YouthMappers Network in Sierra Leone. So today on the show, we are going to be talking about YouthMappers, what the benefit of being part of the YouthMappers Network, and also some of the projects that the YouthMappers Sierra Leone have taken on. One of such is mapping to support electrification in rural communities. But before we get started, I just want to say a huge thank you to the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, OT, for supporting this podcast. OT is a non-profit organization dedicated to humanitarian response and community development through open mapping. They work together with communities to provide map data, to support disaster management and contribute to the achievement of the sustainable development goals. So if you've been looking for how to contribute for exciting impact local and global projects, contribute to OpenStreetMap, participate in mapathons, access grants and micro grants, jobs and internship opportunities, and ultimately contribute to the resiliency of your community and the SDGs, please check out hotosm.org to get started. And also, Hot, I've been on the podcast before in episode 2, Mapping Our World, Saving Lives. Please do look up the archive to listen to the episode to learn more about Hot. All right, let's get into the interview. So thank you so much for joining me on the show today, Tommy. How are you doing today and how is Sierra Leone today?
Hello, Ola. Thanks for having me. I am doing fine today. Sierra Leone is cool. We are having a good time in the beautiful city of Freetown.
That's good to know. Okay, so before we go into, talking about YouthMappers Network and the Power Grid project, would you like to, tell us a little bit about yourself, like a background introduction of yourself and what you've been up to in the GIS industry and the mapping community?
I studied geography at Frobe College and I graduated in 2018. After graduation, I started working for a transportation company that offers a service that is similar to Uber or Lyft. And then I have been spearheading the OpenStreetMap community here in Sierra Leone, and I have been a youth mapper advocate. And in 2020, I was appointed as a regional youth mappers ambassador for Sierra Leone and Liberia. And I also volunteer with the OpenStreetMap Africa community. So it is a very exciting journey so far in my career. And I am focused on GIS, mapping science, and using those tools for humanitarian and research purposes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tommy, for sharing about your work and then your background. So now, I know you've mentioned YouthMappers and you've mentioned you were nominated or you were appointed as the regional ambassador for YouthMappers. So would you tell us what YouthMapper Network is and what do they do?
The Youth Mappers Network is a consortium of youth mappers chapters across the world. They act as club on different campuses. So students establish youth mappers chapters at their campus, and then they organize events. And youth mappers chapters serve as knowledge learning and sharing platforms where these students come and share knowledge and also engage in humanitarian and research activities. Youth mappers over the years have grown to up to 68 countries across the world and we have over 200 chapters established.
Do you know how many chapters you have in Sierra Leone?
Well, currently in Sierra Leone, we have 5 chapters and we are planning to establish more.
Okay, I know you mentioned you were the regional ambassador, and I just want to ask what your role was as the regional ambassador and what opportunities did the role open up for you? Because I mean, like, the reason why I'm asking this question is so that people who are listening to this podcast and they do not have a Youth Mappers chapter in their university can know maybe the opportunities that they get from, becoming a youth mapper. I mean, like becoming part of the network and also. So maybe we take it from you telling us what's the benefit that there when you become a youth, when you join the Youth Mappers Network, and then you being the regional ambassador, what opportunities it open that role open for you, and what were like your responsibilities as the regional ambassador?
Being a part of the Youth Mappers family, I'll say, has actually been a very big boost to my career. When I was in college, I didn't do much practicals, but because of my engagement with Youth Mappers, I did a lot of practicals through the form of webinars and the other learning materials that they have, like the Teach OSM platform that I was introduced to Youth Mappers. So through Youth Mappers Network, I was able to garner a lot of practical skills, and this also includes some theoretical skills. So I got both practical and theoretical skills through my engagement with the Youth Mappers community because they connect students and members at large to a lot of learning opportunities. I can recall there was one time when I was with the Youth Mappers for the first time, I received a training from Hexagon Geospatial, and we've also received training from digital art imagery and remote sensing. So those are the kind of opportunities or assistance that you receive from Youth Mappers Consortium. Since I was appointed as the regional ambassador in 2020, I was given the task to revive YouthMappers chapters that were considered to be dormant and also establish new ones, which I did to a larger extent because the community in Liberia was somehow dormant. Most of the chapters were almost inactive, but I had to liaise with a colleague in Liberia in the name of Christian Weir, and then we reactivated about three of the chapters in Liberia, and the plan is for us to continue reactivating them. And also here in Sierra Leone, we had chapters that were already active but not in good standing. So we had to make sure that we encourage them to structure their chapters moving ahead and to work according to the constitution and bylaws of their chapter and trying to see how we can connect them with local organizations. So that was basically my task last year as regional ambassador. And as I continue my journey in being a regional ambassador, my task now is to make sure that youth mappers make full use of the existing opportunities, the existing learning materials, more especially the Youth Mappers Academy, which is a platform that gives all the necessary information, all the necessary knowledge and skills for one to be part of the wider OpenStreetMap community. So that is what we are focusing on. That will be my focus in the coming months or in the coming year.
So you're like still the regional ambassador for Sierra Leone.
Yeah, for Sierra Leone. Last time was for Sierra Leone and Liberia, but now it's for Sierra Leone because Liberia has a new ambassador.
So the UMapper network, is it like for only people that are currently in school, or like either like undergraduate or postgraduate, or how can people who like maybe they did like me now when I was in school, definitely I knew about UMappers, but then I think I didn't have enough information to know that how to join or that I should join. And then now that I'm out of school, I feel like I want to be part of this network, but then I feel like it's too late for me to be part of this network. Is that feeling right? Or is there a way that I can, even though I'm out of school, is there a way I can still be part of the network?
As long as you're a youth, it's never late to become a member of the Youth Mappers. The Youth Mappers has a policy of openness. So regardless of whether you are in school or out of school, you can still be a member of the Youth Mappers Network. Because as long as you have passion for mapping, you have passion for open data, you have passion for research and humanitarian work, then you have a chance of becoming a member of the Youth Mappers Consortium. So as a graduate, you can become a member of the Youth Mappers Network. I think one of the easiest way to be on board the network is as a graduate. If it happens that you do not have a chapter at your campus, you can go back to college, get in touch with your department or your faculty and tell them about Youth Mappers. You can also do this by liaising with your regional ambassador if there is any in your region or in your country. You tell them about the initiative to start a chapter at your university, your former university or tertiary institution, and then you can go ahead and establish a chapter there. You can also register on the Youth Mappers Academy so you can get all the necessary knowledge you need to establish a chapter. All the documents and materials are there. You can check on missing maps if you want to organize a mapathon, if you want to learn how to map. You can also check on the Teach OSM. You can check on the Humanitarian OpenStreetMap team platform where you can have a lot of materials that you can use to organize an event, and then you can start the process of establishing a chapter that is recognized by the college. And it's a simple way of coming on board. Once you do that, then you can consider yourself to be a youth mapper. You can also sign up for the Youth Mappers mailing list on the website youthmappers.org. When you sign up for this mailing list, you'll be receiving emails, updates about the activities of Youth Mappers and how you can be on board. Youth Mappers across the world organize events on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis that you can participate in. You can participate in and learn new things and go be on board the community.
That's amazing, and thank you so much for sharing that. I think that maybe maybe now that I've learned that, maybe something I'll look into doing. Yeah, so now let's move into talking about, one of the projects that you've been able to, accomplish as a youth mapper like in Sierra Leone. So can you tell us about what the Power Grid project is all about?
The Power Grid project is a very, very interesting project that has been going on here in Sierra Leone for almost 2 years now. So it is about the mapping of utility of utility poles in Sierra Leone, electricity utility distribution poles. We have been mapping these poles and then to the Mapillary platform and then by extension the OpenStreetMap platform. And the data that has been provided through this project is being used by electricity distribution, generation, and supply agencies and to make decisions in some instance to know the amount of utility poles that can be erected in some communities and in other instances to assess the condition of existing utility poles in those communities. They use it for various reasons. So that is what the power grid mapping, and in the verge of implementing these projects, we have been empowering youth mappers with a lot of skills and leadership capabilities. And also we have been liaising with local community, local youth leaders, elected youth leaders across the country. We have also been able to boost the OpenStreetMap community here in terms of improving on our numbers and in terms of keeping our Youth Mappers chapters active across the country. Yeah, so it has been a very good opportunity for us to learn and also put our skills to use for social good.
I feel like that's an interesting project, and I think I want to know, like, why did you decide to start a project around electrification of rural communities in Sierra Leone? Maybe you can also like share that.
Well, the project was actually born out of the collaboration between youth mappers and other organizations and companies. There is a organization known as LEAPS in the USA and that works with the Arizona State University. But like there's an organization called LEAPS that works with youth mappers and then they in turn work with electricity companies here in Sierra Leone and the Ministry of Energy. So they got in touch with youth mappers to see how youth mappers can work with the local community of youth mappers to see how they can collect these data imageries that they can input to their platforms and they can make easily accessible to electricity companies or electricity agencies. So the youth mappers in general got in touch with us and said that this is the project and they wanted us to spearhead it. So that was how we started the power grid mapping. So in 2020, we started a pilot of 5 communities, Ryan. We needed to see what are the things that are needed to be done in order for us to have a successful project on a larger scale. So we implemented that in 5 communities and then we noted down the challenges and the successes and developed a robust methodology. And it was that methodology that we used to map up to 21 locations in 2021. So the project has been considered to be hugely successful.
So far you've been able to map 20. Is that what you're saying? You've been able to map 21 communities?
Yes, 21 communities across the country. And all this has been
Wow.
done by youth mappers in Sierra Leone.
Wow. So like those are the kind of opportunities you get when you become a part of the YouthMappers network.
Yes, you get to collaborate and work with institutions, individuals from different backgrounds, from different locations, and you get to learn and share knowledge with a lot of individuals and institutions. There are a lot of opportunities in being a youth mapper, and this depends on your input. It depends on your enthusiasm to be on board and be part of the community where you can share knowledge and you can also gain knowledge. So you can also be ethical in your approach in dealing with people. Once you practice those things, then a lot of opportunities are out there being part of the Youth Mappers community.
What other projects have you been able to also work on as youth mapper community in Sierra Leone or like OpenStreetMap community in Sierra Leone?
This is not the old project. So also last year in 2020, we were fortunate to be selected to be the recipient of one of the recipients for the 2020 HOT micro grant, and we had to implement a project that was titled reviving our OpenStreetMap community, sustainable revival of our OpenStreetMap community. Let me go over this: the sustainable revival and expansion of our OpenStreetMap community. Before 2021, in 2019, when I started spearheading the activities of OpenStreetMap Sierra Leone, the community was on a standstill because we had lost the place that we were using as a venue to host mapathons because of a change in their cyber policy. And we didn't have funds to organize mapathons. So the community was on a standstill. So that was when we thought it fit that let us apply for the HOT microgrant to see how we can revive the community and also try to expand it in a sustainable way. So we were selected. We got some funds to revive the community and also expand it. The only unfortunate side was by the time we were ready to start implementation, then there was COVID-19 and there were a lot of restrictions. So we were not able to move out of Freetown to other locations where we were planning to revive the Youth Mappers chapters and also establish new ones. But however, we started using digital tools like Zoom, like Google Meet, like Google Docs, you know. So through the HOT microgrant, before the HOT microgrant, we had three Youth Mappers chapters. We were able to revive two of them. The other one went defunct because it was we were having two Youth Mappers chapters in one university. So we had to make sure that we combined both of them to become one and they started working together. We had two Youth Mappers chapters that were active now before the HOT microgrant, but at the end of the HOT microgrant, we are able to establish three more Youth Mappers chapters. And all these chapters were established remotely when we had online engagements, online mapathons. It was only when restrictions were lessened that we were able to visit these three Youth Mappers chapters and then organize live mapathons with them. And fortunately, we had the power grid mapping, and we had to utilize the skills that these youth mappers had acquired through the power grid mapping project. So it was a bit smooth for us. So that made us have five youth mappers chapters. So we are able to revive the two existing ones, establish three. So we considered, and by a larger extent, the whole community considered the project to be successful because we are able to revive and also expand our community. And it continues, the work continues. We are now in the plan to make our youth mappers chapters very autonomous in the sense that they can handle finance on their own and also do what's necessary for the growth of their chapters.
That's a lot of work you've actually like done in the youth mappers here in the community, and I must like say I must commend your efforts on that. So what would be your final words for people out there who do not know about youth mappers, or like just your final words for the listeners?
I have been to a few places out of Sierra Leone and specifically in Africa. But the few places I've been to, one thing that is common in our tertiary institution is the lack of practicals. the lack of practical knowledge. Our education is mostly focused on theoretical aspects. But one thing I'll assure any student in Africa or the world at large is when you become a member of the Youth Mappers Network, you are certain of gaining practical knowledge and also theoretical knowledge. But because of the job market that is out there now, having practical knowledge is very, very important and it gives you a big boost. And that is one thing that every youth or every student across the continent is assured of when they become a member of the Youth Mappers Network. There are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of materials that they can use to improve on their practical skills, which is very, very important in the job market today. So that is one thing I'll say to students. If you have a local Youth Mappers chapters on campus, try to be on board, try to join one. If you do not have one, try to establish one. You can go to the Youth Mappers Network at youthmappers.org and then you sign up. You can get in touch with your colleague students to see if they'll be interested, like minds, and trying to persuade them to establish a chapter on your campus. And then once you establish one, you start having mapathons and then you start sign up for the mailing list. You follow the Youth Mappers page on Facebook, Youth Mappers on Twitter, and then you see a lot of opportunities coming up, a lot of learning opportunities coming up, and you become practical oriented by the time you leave university or college. There are a lot of opportunities that the Youth Mappers itself creates. So there is the Youth Mappers Research Fellow, wherein Youth Mappers are encouraged to bring out research proposals, to submit research proposals, and these proposals are funded for them to be implemented. They are not only funded, the students are given all the required training that they will be needing to execute their project. And also there is a Youth Mappers Leadership Fellowship, which wherein they select students that have the track record of leadership on their campus, and then their leadership skills are improved on, especially as it relates to implementing mapping activities or geospatial industry in general. And also there is a Youth Mappers Regional Ambassador, wherein students are selected to serve as ambassadors within their regions or within their country in order to revive or spearhead the Youth Mappers activities within their locations or within their region. There is also the Youth Mappers Field Program, wherein students are encouraged to bring forward field activities that are research based or that are development oriented. And then once the youth mappers confirm that these projects are feasible, these field map are feasible, field work is feasible, they are being funded to organize or implement these field work programs, which also will help you to enhance your practical skills on the field. So these are the opportunities that the youth mappers provide for students and people at large. So there is also the Youth Mappers Academy, which was launched sometimes this year. And the Youth Mappers Academy gives you the opportunity to learn about the whole OpenStreetMap ecosystem and also ethical geo, like how to be ethical as a geoscientist or as an environmentalist or someone that is in the geosciences, like how to be ethical and all. So the Youth Mappers Academy, those who complete stages within the course content receive badges from the American Geographers Association, and which can be a very big boost to anyone's career that is in the environmental sciences or geosciences once you receive badges from the American Geography Association. These are the opportunities that are available to students, and sometimes Youth Mappers collaborates with Digital Art, Hexagon Geospatial, and a lot of tools. And there was one time also Youth Mappers collaborated with Esri, and then we were given training in online ArcGIS. So these are a lot of opportunities that students can tap from, that students can benefit from once you are a Youth Mapper. Not only students, even graduates. Like I said earlier on, the Youth Mappers Network is open to everyone. Anybody can join as long as you have the passion to share knowledge, passion to gain knowledge, and the passion to do research and humanitarian work.
Thank you so much, Tommy, for sharing like extensively about the benefits of becoming a youth mappers and other things that people can, get to benefit from being part of the network. So I think the last question that we'll ask our guests is, maybe for people that listeners that would like to reach out to you, what platform, where can they reach you?
You can reach me via Google at godfreytommy@gmail.com. Godfrey as in Godphery, Tommy Tommy @gmail.com. Or you can reach me at OpenStreetMap Sierra Leone @gmail.com. Yeah, you can contact me on both emails and you'll get in touch with me. Or you can check me on my social media handle on Facebook, Tommy Charles, and the same on Twitter at Godfrey Tommy.
Thank you so much, Tommy, for being on the episode. I hope that listeners would gain as much as I have from this talk about joining the YouthMappers Network. And I must say thank you for also contributing to the greater good of the world. Well done.
Thank you very much, Ola, for having me. And I want to say thank you for inviting me to the platform to share my knowledge about youth mappers. And I want to say you guys are doing a very good work. You're doing a great job trying to create a platform that you're creating a platform where people can explain their experience within the GIS or geography community across the continent. It is very inspiring, and I hope and pray you continue in this path with growth and
Yeah.
success in the years ahead.
Amen. Thank you so much. That's such a great thing to actually hear. Thank you. And that's it for the interview with Tommy. I hope Tommy and I have been able to cover a lot of topics, and I hope now you know what the Youth Mappers network is, how to be a part of the Youth Mappers chapter in your university if they exist, and you know now that you can also create a Youth Mappers chapter in your university if they don't exist. So, and we also know like you can join the Youth Mappers community as a student, as an undergraduate, as a postgraduate. Also, if you are not currently a student, there are also ways that you can try to also be part of the Youth Mappers network. So once again, I just want to thank you for listening to this episode. But before we go, I just wanted to say that we appreciate your feedback and opinion. Please feel free to reach out if you have a request for topic or you have any idea or you know anyone who is doing great things with GIS in Africa. You can send us a DM on Twitter at Africa Geoconvo. You can also send us a mail at africageoconvo@gmail.com or check out our website, africageoconvo.com. We'll be very glad to hear from you. Please do us a favor and make sure that you share this podcast within your network. Share it to students who might need this to, support their studentship. So make sure that you share it to within your networks. And thank you and see you next month. Bye.